That is so funny, bruh. One trailer, two trailers, three trailers. A lot of timber is transported only by the strength of one tractor. Have you ever seen a machine pull a large log through a snowy forest while still being that stubborn? The LKT-80 Turbo steps into the job with a low, solid, and powerful appearance. With over 100 horsepower of pulling power and a 4x4 wheel system with good ground grip, it moves steadily through snow, mud, rain, or deep cold. Unlike many modern machines that focus on a fancy appearance, the LKT-80 Turbo impresses with its simplicity, durability, and extremely practical timber pulling ability. This is why you need to trim or cut off tree branches to avoid electrical short circuits, especially on bad weather days when it can be extremely dangerous. Have you ever seen a Timberjack 240A pull a large log through a flooded trail while still being that stubborn? With over 100 horsepower of pulling power, a 4x4 wheel system wrapped with anti-slip chains, this machine grips the ground firmly, pulling the log forward powerfully and convincingly. Have you ever seen a John Deere 640H pull a large log through a steep trail while still being that powerful? The machine body keeps solid traction, the pulling force stays stable, and it moves with full confidence, making every obstacle on the forest road seem smaller. Have you ever seen a Narva H60 split a large log that fast and neatly? The special point of this machine is that it does not use its own engine, but runs on an external hydraulic source. According to the manufacturer's minimum requirement of 40 liters per minute and maximum 200 bar, the converted power is equal to about 17.8 theoretical hydraulic horsepower. When working, the Narva H60 can split up to 24 pieces, handle wood up to 60 centimeters in diameter with a 62 centimeter stroke, and 3 splitting force levels of 9 tons, 22 tons, and up to 37 tons. At 70 liters per minute, the machine reaches a cycle time of 7 seconds or 11 seconds depending on the load, so its real working efficiency is very impressive. This is the kind of log splitter made to work fast, strong, and extremely practical. The driver made a serious mistake when changing direction right on this highway. Tom used to sit for hours beside heavy logs, cutting each piece by hand, slowly and with a lot of effort. Everything changed after he bought the Binderberger SSP 450. This machine is an automatic saw splitter with a Hatz diesel version rated at 34.2 kilowatts, equal to about 45.9 horsepower. It also has a 45 kilowatt PTO version and a 22 plus 9 kilowatt electric version. The machine handles logs from 25 to 50 centimeters long, up to 45 centimeters in diameter, has a 16-ton splitting force, and reaches about 5 cycles per minute under ideal conditions. Thanks to that, Tom no longer has to sit and split firewood by hand, but only needs to feed the wood in and let the machine handle the heavy work. Not expensive, not complicated. This man built a wood splitter powered by the PTO shaft of his tractor. What happens when transporting tons of timber is no longer a money-making job, but turns into entertainment? Oh my God, look at it. A risk nobody wants to see when the rear trailer becomes detached from the timber hauling truck. The connection between the trailers is something the driver can never take lightly. The consequences are not something to take lightly. Sometimes comparing the strength of tractors can begin with the most basic kind of contest. That's insane. Getting through all the difficulties in a transport trip going against the river current is not easy at all. It looks like moving in wartime. Durable, solid. Crossing all kinds of terrain with the Soviet truck is no longer a problem with its large engine and tires made for moving through mud. Even if it loses momentum while going uphill, it still gets through quickly after that. Quiet in the mud, but never willing to surrender, especially during the process. Speed, powerful. Let's see whether this powerful machine can overcome this slope or not. Have you ever seen a timber skidder drag more than 10 logs through a dense forest while still looking full of power? The LKT-81 Turbo steps into the job with a strong attitude, a low body, a solid frame, and extreme toughness. Equipped with an engine of about 127 horsepower and an equal-size 4x4 wheel system with good ground grip, this machine pulls long logs behind it through narrow, muddy, and steep forest roads in a very convincing way. Unlike many modern forestry machines that focus on long shapes and complex technology, the LKT-81 Turbo stands out with a simple mechanical feeling. Strong, durable, and completely focused on practical pulling power. This is the kind of machine where just watching it pull timber is enough to feel the real strength of an old forest warrior. It does not mean that in every situation, powerful tractors can always get the job done, especially in muddy environments. Have you ever seen a Ponce buffalo carry a large load of timber and unload it onto the ground so neatly? With an engine of about 210 kilowatts, equal to nearly 286 horsepower, this forwarder shows very convincing performance when it can carry about 14 to 15 tons of timber each trip. The valuable difference lies in the K70 Plus or K90 Plus hydraulic crane, with long reach and very smooth operation, helping it both transport and load timber easily, like a true two-in-one machine. The powerful strength of the Scania and the experienced driver is shown right here. This is how the strong woman prepares to cut down the huge tree trunk, when the stump area is very obstructive and not convenient for cutting. Powerful, superior. The Shantway 974, with its tracked system, is a powerful assistant for workers pulling timber in forests full of dirt and mud. Causing the vehicle to slide off the road. Breathtaking, massive steel monster. This is not a normal transport trip. A heavy-duty tractor is pulling a giant, oversized and overweight load through the night. Behind it is a multi-axle trailer system, designed to spread the weight evenly and keep the whole load balanced on the road. Every meter of movement requires extremely precise calculation. From speed, turning angle, distance from motorbikes, to the guiding lights in front. Just one small mistake can turn this mission into a highly risky situation. This is where mechanical power, driver skill, and a professional coordination team work together like one single machine. Superload, precision logistics, no room for error. This is why you must always pay attention to traffic lights, especially at crossings with railway tracks. That's terrible. Have you ever seen a FAP 13-14 Duplac carry tons of timber up a 25-degree hillside while still being that stubborn? This truck impresses with its solid look, durable attitude, and very respectable pulling power when carrying a heavy load. Based on the public information I found, the 13-14 model is often listed with about 145 horsepower or 106 kilowatts, although the real configuration may be different depending on each truck and each version. That is why, when pulling a heavy load of timber over a steep slope, the FAP 13-14 Duplac feels powerful, slow but steady, and very convincing, like an old warrior still working with full efficiency.